What's up everyone, it's Rainbow Kitten 2005 back at it with another Let's Play, and that was a complete lie. This is not Rainbow Kitten. I'm sure there's some of you people like this fellow who are very disappointed. Maybe some people are crying in the comments. I have no idea how much people care about that. And can you just go off? Yeah, that's very great. So today, we're not doing a Let's Play. We're talking about business. We're talking about interning at the Fortune 40 company. So I actually was just at work today. Sir, oh my God, he tricked me. I thought he was just gonna let me punch him into the void, just throw that young man into there, and clearly he was not about that. So when I was there, can I make this jump? For the first day, the very first project my boss wanted me to do was basically create a research report on all the companies that remained in the S&P 500 index since it was created in like 1960 or whatever, and just see all the companies, like which companies have survived, which companies are still here today. Because I think the big thing is all these companies, a lot of them are kind of scared, they're S&P 500 companies, they're worth so much money, but in time and history, we see people are and companies are kind of just constantly coming and going. You have stuff like the internet, you have Wi-Fi, you have trees. I guess trees were probably back there in the day. That was so rude of this guy. I'm trying to tell a story here. I'm trying to tell a very great story, and oh my God, our bed is gone. Our bed is gone. So as I was saying, companies are constantly coming and going. People have to see how to, innovate, how to evolve so you don't fall in the traps. You have places like, I think a big example is Nokia. Apparently, back in the day, I think the 90s or whatever, that was like the big company people used for phones and stuff. And I have never heard of it until a year ago from Drake, Until the Drake song, I had no idea what that was. But apparently that's, before back in the day, people were getting their waters in the well. You had to go on your little mule, go there, dig some water. I don't know. Back in that day, that's what you had to do. So, and oh my God, is this guy going to go for me? And can we just do that? He made me waste my pearl. That is quite inconvenient, but we got the bed regardless. So this is a pretty ambitious project, This isn't a project you can just, walk into with no thought. You have to, be very calculated. You have to have a plan. You have to know what you're doing. So when you have something like this, sir, I can't believe you just did that to me. And oh my God, is he going for me like that? No! I have no idea what happened in the last game, but as I was saying, when you have a project like this isn't some project, you can just walk into willy-nilly. This is some serious business, so you need a serious plan. So when you have like a project like this, what's the first thing that comes into your mind? What comes into my mind is I'm using ChatGPT, because the thing is, this isn't your school type of thing. This isn't school. This is a business, and they actually encourage you to use AI. So I'm thinking this is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm just going to use my ChatGPT. We're going to get a very easy report first week, and we are going to be getting that bag. So that's what was in my mind. And is he's just going to fall in the void. That was a little, I don't know. That was a little sad. But yeah, so that was kind of what I was hoping, I was hoping for that. But then my dreams slowly fell apart, because you know what? The problem is with these days, and this is a little unfortunate, you have these groups these days that are kind of hacking all these companies, they're doing these ransomware saying, they send you these emails. And I was getting the thing is at my company, so they set you up your email. I was getting these phishing emails from these hacking companies before I was even the intern. I was getting like tons of them, like everything in my inbox. It was the welcome intern in email, and then it was like 10 different hacking emails just trying to phish you, to try to get you to click the link. And I don't even know what happens when you click the link. Maybe they just they say something like go here, win free V-Bucks, because clearly that is what everyone at these Fortune 40 companies want. That's clearly what they want, but I have no idea. But that is regardless of the point. But sadly, because of these hacker people, it has created the environment where these companies have practices. They can't just use random services. They have to vet everything, so they can't use ChatGPT. And there's also the big concern of data privacy. They want to control their data. They want to own their data. If you're putting like proprietary, very confidential information in ChatGPT, ChatGPT is studying that. ChatGPT works by constantly studying your data. They're probably selling your data. they're probably doing all sorts of things, but like, yeah, that's kind of the thing. So there's a little bit of concern, you know. You don't want someone's like all their life information, like where they live, their money, their blood type, whatever these companies have on you. They don't want that to just get leaked and get tons of lawsuits and then just cry. They want to avoid that. So they can't use ChatGPT, and you know what they have to use? They have to use Microsoft Copilot. Oh my God, Microsoft Copilot. For those that don't know, Microsoft Copilot is what I would call the old navy of AI softwares. It is like the bottom of the bottom. It's probably the worst AI software. It's not super elite. It's not bad. It's like very helpful, but compared to ChatGPT, and where is that guy? You know, I was seeing that guy build over here. I was like, he's just having fun. He's going to break someone's bed. And then I realized he's breaking my base. And also the other thing is I was not super familiar with Copilot. I had used like ChatGPT my whole life for non-school purposes. As a college fellow and TA of my university, I can confirm I would never use AI for an assignment. I would never do that. But for other, let's say personal reasons for using AI, and this guy is a fireball maniac. I was not super familiar with that. Is there just a chance that worked? Can I just like, I was really hoping that would work. Are we both using knockback 6? That is hilarious. We both had the same exact idea. Is he drinking a potion? I'm just trying to invis, sir. I'm just trying to invis. This is not good at all. I'm juking. Wait, can we get him? Are we gonna be able to get this guy? I'm coming. Where is this guy? Where are you? Sad horse. Sad horse. Sad horse. Oh my God! What? I was gonna share it. Well, it seems very unfortunately speaking, Sad horse made me very sad. So, as I was saying, you know, I had to play around with the Copilot tools. I wasn't super familiar with it. I was not familiar with it at all, but I got used to it. It's actually kind of similar with ChatGPT, except you know what it does? It completely lies to you. I have no idea what the plan was there, but I guess it worked out. So I think that's just karma. So the problem with Copilot though is that it will lie to you in cold blood. So I was doing this whole report. I was kind of writing it in Copilot. So the first thing was just getting the list of all the companies that have remained in the S&P 500 index. That was kind of like the big type of thing that we had to do. Oh, that's so amazing. That was the big thing. So I was just trying to get the list of companies. So I was having ChatGPT, you know, find me all these nice little articles. It would give me website links that just did not exist, and it was not being good. You know, I'm just like a college student trying to use ChatGPT to write my report, and ChatGPT was like, hell no. Oh, it's not even ChatGPT this time. It's Copilot. It just said, hell no. It was trying to destroy my dreams. So we had to adapt. And the way we adapted was we had to actually just like take the links. We would tell it basically, every time it would give me information, I would tell it, give me the link. Give me your source. Just give me all the information. I kind of emotionally abused my Copilot agent. It was not very pretty at all, but at the end of the day, after many very nice and pleasant messages to my Copilot agent, it got it. So eventually, after a lot of work, we were able to get it. I was able to get my list from Copilot. It was a lot of pain, but we had the list of all the companies. So that was, I feel like, kind of the big part. But now we have the report. And the thing is, writing a report like this, normally, you know, it's kind of hard. It's like, you know, you have to write all this stuff. But the thing is, we can use Copilot. You know, we are approved. It is encouraged. They actually, like, they want us to use all these tools. So I was able to just basically write an outline of all the sections and all the things I wanted. And Copilot would just, you know, it would just write it. It would write it in completely beautiful language. It was very good English. It was very well written. I was actually very surprised, very happy. We had a full report. It was 46 pages, but the only problem is no one wants to read 46 pages of nonsense. Not that it was nonsense. It was not nonsense. It was actually very good. You know, we had case studies. We had a lot of... See, this is the problem. I was just telling an amazing story, Mr. Guan. And he put all of his stuff in the void, and he just tried to stab me. Oh my god. The thing is, no one wants to read 46 pages of anything, you know. Guan? Guan? Can't be doing this to me, Guan. Guan? It's about to happen, Guan. See, Guan, you're gonna try to do that, and it's just not gonna work, Guan. It is not gonna work. I'm gonna eat this now. He has a fireball? Where did you get that, Guan? Can I just knock back Guan off? Guan, you need to go in the void. See, Guan, this is a life lesson. When you go for Dalton's bed, you break it, you get the stick of friendship. So I had to make just a quick executive summary. So I made like just a very clean 2-page executive summary. It had basically all the information you want. So it was kind of their set, you know. We had the report. My boss was a little surprised how fast it took, but it was good stuff, you know. So my boss, he's a vice president. Oh my god, I saw those footsteps. I saw those little footsteps, and I was not. Oh my god, did I miss that pearl? Bedwars! That is a scam. I can't believe it. You know, I actually made my pearl clutch. I had my block already. I was gonna, you know, just go there. I was gonna place the block. I placed the block. I landed it, and Hypixel Bedwars said, "No, you are not gonna live today. You are not going to have any dreams." I think this is a testament of where we are as a society, and this is just some real world advice. But you know, my boss was happy with it. We got the report in. It made it up to many vice presidents. It made it up the chain to some senior vice presidents, and then it made it all the way up to the CEO of the company, who's like a billionaire dude. This is like a very powerful dude. So the work, I guess, was very well received. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is a new channel. If you guys want to subscribe, that would be very helpful. And we have a Discord server. If you join the Discord server, you go to the announcements tab, you can get an OG role to prove you were here at the very start. And that's basically it. I'll see you guys in the next video.